listening to the Flickcast, a podcast about stuff nerds love. I am Chris Ulrich, and joining me, of course, my co-host, Joe Dilworth. Joe, hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm good.
I guess I was supposed to answer your question first before I'm doing good. How are you?
That's okay. You know what? This is a free-form podcast. We kind of just go with the flow, as it were, and whatever happens, happens. That'll be the theme of today. I'm a little under the weather, so if I sound weird, it's because I sound weird and my voice is all weird in my head. It sounds like very nasally right now, but so I apologize to everyone.
You sound great.
Well, it's this fancy microphone, you know.
Oh, well, there you go. I got you.
I spare no expense for the podcast.
We spared no expense.
Spared no expense. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on to your butts. Anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh man, I finally caught up with the last two Jurassic Park films. I'm sorry that I did. What a waste of time that was. I do enjoy Bryce Dallas Howard, but the rest and of course the return of the original cast was kind of cool. I did enjoy seeing them again.
But boy, was that wasted in a movie.
It was. You know, Sam Neill looks almost exactly the same. I mean, that guy
does.
And
yes.
It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Anyway, and I don't want to get into. I feel like we've talked about this before. I don't want to get into a Chris Pratt hate fest, but it's like he has a certain narrow range, maybe, of appeal, and I don't know that the movies. He was fine. I guess is what I'm saying. He was fine.
Yes.
And you know, the movies were fine. They weren't great. They weren't bad. They were okay. And I guess that's all they have to be, right? So, anyway.
I would have appreciated more if the character that Chris Pratt played, instead of being that character, was the kid from the first Jurassic Park movie.
Oh yeah, like whatever that Spider-Man kid from the original Iron Man movie, right? Or Iron Man 2.
Right? Yeah. I think that would have been.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but.
Well, he was like the kid. He was like, that looks like a giant turkey, right? That kid you're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, doesn't look dangerous.
And my teacher said, yeah.
My teacher, I don't think he said. I don't remember what he says, but yeah, that would have been good. And then they reconcile, like he and Sam Neill's character, not Sam Elliott.
That would have been a different movie.
They look at each other and go, what? You know, and
because they even make the cheeky comment in this one about the fences and like they do have charge or whatever, and then like
some are electrified.
See, it would have been good if there was that character and they could have given each other side eye. And
well, I'm in my head canon. That's what happened. That's what it is.
Exactly.
That's what made the kid decide to train raptors, because it makes sense, right? Because he shows them the raptor claw.
Exactly.
Says, you're alive when they begin to eat you, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I want to work on the raptors."
Right.
And
see that. I'm like, why did you not do that?
But first, I'm going to join the Navy. And then I'm going to work with raptors.
Yes. See, I just think it would have worked better. I mean, they brought Dodson back, and it was a different actor. The original actor is not.
I think he's in prison now, so I don't think.
I think he did some bad things with kids or something like that.
He did. I don't know if it was kids or if it was just like grooming. I don't know. Want to get into it.
But they brought Dodson back. I mean, geez, come on. I don't know.
Yeah, they could bring anyone back. No, I think that's a great idea. I bet there was a version of the script where that happened.
Could be.
If there was ever a script at all, it's like, there's dinosaurs. You just, you
take the
you get on the motorcycle and you ride from A to B, and the dinosaurs are going to chase you.
It just really seemed like they didn't put a lot of thought into the story in all three of the Jurassic World ones. I mean, the first one was a little bit better and kind of tied in because it was a park and all that, but even that was still like, I guess, as we've talked before, I rail against movies where a substantial number, if not all, of the main characters drive the plot by making really dumb decisions.
At least they made a point of showing Bryce Dallas Howard was wearing proper footwear in the entire film. Like, look, she's got boots. Everybody,
she's not wearing heels.
Not wearing heels anymore, which was a stupid decision on everyone's part.
Yeah.
Did no one look at the pictures and go, you know what? Why would she be wearing that? I guess you could make the case that she never had a chance to change her footwear, but still.
Well, wouldn't you at least break the heels off or something? I don't know.
I feel like all the characters in that movie, especially the women, were treated poorly. Like the assistant who was just trying to get the kids places died horribly, and then not only died horribly, but got torn apart and then eaten again. It's like, why do you hate women so much?
Right.
I don't get it. Anyway.
So Colin Trevorrow was
Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah.
Why do you hate women?
Why are you anti-women?
Why? Anyway, I don't know why we got on this subject. It's my fault. I apologize.
And they also
stupid movie.
redeemed D.B. Wong's character too, which was
I was going to say B.D. Wong. Is it B.D. Wong?
Man, now you're going to make me go look it up.
It's a D.B. Woodside and B.D.
I probably got it wrong.
You did. It's okay. Yes, they redeemed him. He's actually the most interesting character in the movie.
It is B.D. Wong, yes.
Yeah. Well, I only remember, I try to remember people's names, but I'm not great at it. But I do remember him in Mr. Robot being fantastic.
Yes. So. Although I didn't understand because in the first 2 Jurassic World movies, they make him like this background mustache twirling villain, and then suddenly he's like, oh no, he's just misunderstood. He really wants to save the world.
Well, yeah, he needs to be redeemed, right? He's got a redemption arc. Like Dotson needs to be redeemed too, although he's not. But
no, but
Dotson got Dotson here, everybody. Dotson.
See, nobody cares, and again, nobody cared.
Nobody cared in that movie either.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, and he does. I mean, there are some callbacks. He does die the same way as Newman, so there you go.
He did. That's true.
I'm just gonna call him Newman in every movie. I don't care.
Yes. So I don't know. It was
sorry. It's a Seinfeld reference. I apologize.
I just don't know how you make 3 movies that are that bad.
I don't know. Well, you make them for the lowest common denominator. That's why.
That's probably true.
To just make them, and yeah, I don't know. It's Hollywood's out of ideas. I don't know. Will there be another Jurassic Park movie? I don't know, but
probably. I mean, depends on how much this one makes. I'm sure there will be at some point.
I'm sure it made money, yeah. But whatever they do, they're going to pay Bryce Dallas Howard far less than Chris Pratt. So.
Of course they will.
And of course, people come online to defend that. It's like, well, she's nobody, and he was in Parks and Recreation, and I'm like, oh well. There you go.
Yeah, she's nobody. Okay, sure,
she's nobody. Whatever. So on today's episode, we're not going to talk about Jurassic Park anymore. We're going to talk about episode 2 of She-Hulk, which still is a great show.
Yes.
And we're going to probably touch on the House of the Dragon, which just started. Discuss a little dragon action, hot dragon action, or someone wrote on YouTube, your introduction to Hot D, which I thought was pretty funny. It's House of the Dragon, right? Hot D. And then with a picture of Matt Smith, which I don't really see. But anyway, and then we're also going to talk about a movie that I finally watched, which is Nope.
Yeah, me too. Same here. Yeah.
And maybe picks and whatever. So let's touch on. I keep saying touch on. Let's reach out and touch.
If we're gonna do Marvel first, we should make a quick mention that WandaVision director Matt Shakman is been tapped to direct Fantastic Four. He was going to direct the new Star Trek movie, and he's leaving that to now go direct Fantastic Four for MCU.
Yeah, I got to agree with him. I think that's an easy choice to make. It's like, do I make the 4th film in a dying franchise, or do I
start a franchise?
Start a thing for fucking Marvel?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I think I'll switch over to the Fantastic Four. Although it amuses me that whenever they talk about that announcement, and not that it's announced, by the way, they're in talks. There's discussions.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's
not even a deal yet, but they always put Matt Shakman and fucking what's his face, Jim from The Office as Reed Richards. Like he's going to be in it or something.
Right. Like that's a given. I mean,
it's happening. Everybody, it's all happening.
Yes, it's all connected.
I mean, I guess you could make the case that in the multiverse, as they've already said, I mean, Stephen Strange looks like Stephen Strange in every multiverse so far, right? So
sure.
If they give John Krasinski enough money,
he'd probably do it.
Why wouldn't he do it? Yeah, he wants to direct anyway.
I think he'd be.
I mean, they can CG his abs and his costume. He doesn't actually do anything. He does 2 or 3 Fantastic Four movies. He's a billionaire for the rest of his life. I mean,
exactly. He never has to do. He can do whatever he wants after that.
He can do that movie where no one can talk for like 6 of those things or whatever.
He can do 6 or 8 of them. It'll be great. You don't have to have a script for it because you're just like, go over there and look scared. Okay,
that's what it is. Yeah, hide under here and look scared. Although there is dialogue. The first one I thought was really scary, actually. The second one I didn't like as much, but the first one was good. I can never remember the names of any.
I guess they're doing more too, but whatever.
Well, they should just do a series. It's all a TV show.
There you go.
Yeah, because I figure it would be pretty easy. Although it is post-apocalyptic, right? So
can you pay actors less if they don't have any?
If they don't speak, yeah, I don't know. Well, that's why you hire your wife. You have to pay her at all.
Right. You don't have to pay her at all if you don't want to. But.
Honey, I'm going to direct this movie, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd be in it.
I'm just going to pay you flat rate.
I'm going to pay you scale for the entire movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? Emily Blunt is dope. I bet she would just do it.
I'll pay you scale, but I'm going to pay myself a huge amount, so it'll balance out.
It'll balance out. Yeah, I get paid as a director and an actor too, and a writer and a producer. I get all the money. So
we can buy 3 houses with this. Don't worry about it.
Right, 3 guest houses too.
Yes,
and the house that I can live in when you divorce me for being mean.
Yeah, dick. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
I feel like they are very happy. Let's hope.
I think so. Yeah,
I hope so. Not that I'm not a gossip person. This is not a gossip podcast.
Not that I hang out with them. I'm concerned.
I totally ship that, man.
You did.
Whatever that means.
I don't know.
Whatever the kids
I
say.
Boated that. Wait, what? I don't know.
What? Bodie McBoatface. Okay, so
we're getting off the rails here.
we're getting
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Love She-Hulk. And this was kind of a what do you want to call it? A get to know you episode where She-Hulk learns about her powers and comes to terms with the fact that she is She-Hulk and is okay with it. I enjoyed that. And I also did enjoy the return of Emil Blonsky as well.
That was done great. And of course the cheeky line of, that fight was so long ago, I'm a different person now. Literally.
Different person, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yes. But no, it was kind of, I
don't know if you have to, why would you have to treat Edward Norton so badly though? I don't know. That's kind of mean. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
it's fine. He is a totally different person. Yeah.
He is. It's always great to see Tim Roth. I thought he did great, and I like the new kind of take on Emil Blonsky. It's like he wants to go do a commune with 7 other or some kind of relationship or whatever with 7 other people and soulmates.
That's what happens when you're in prison, right? You get weirdos, or I'm sorry, people who want to. But yeah, that was great, and he's like misunderstood. I think that's a great way to spin the character so he could start working for the government for Thunderbolts again.
Yes,
but then also it was cool how they end up the appearance of Wong, which I appreciate towards
Wong
the end. Oh, by the way,
bad monkey breaking Emil out of prison to go do Fight Club. Yeah.
By the way, spoilers for She-Hulk, everybody. Yeah. But also, I also wanted to shout out to Mark Lynn Baker as She-Hulk's dad.
Yes. That was really great, and doing the typical dad things like, well, now you can help me around the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a great post-credit sequence. I thought.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Holding up the refrigerator, which is straight out of the comics, which I appreciate.
Exactly. I really, really like this show, even more so with the 2nd episode. I just think it's a lot of fun, and what's her name? I can't pronounce
Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, I can never pronounce her last name correctly, but Maslany. She's just great.
A delight.
She's got huge comedic timing.
Talent.
I mean,
huge talents.
Yeah. No, her comedic timing is just on spot. It's great.
Yeah. She's a really fine dramatic actor as well as a fine comedian as well. So it wouldn't work, I don't think, as well if obviously the lead had to be terrific, and so the fact that she's so good makes all the difference. You totally believe it. Even the breaking the wall, like talking to people thing, although it only happens occasionally, it's sort of jarring now because nobody does that really anymore. Kind of, it's right. She's talking to us. I forgot.
You mean me?
Hi. Oh, me. I'm involved.
She just has this dry humor and dry delivery that works really, really well. I mean, you could have any other comedic actress in there that would just take it too far, and I just think she just nails it. It's really great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there would have been other people that could have done it. It's just now I can't imagine who that is. And Marvel, if nothing else, has been really, really good at casting all this time since the beginning, since Robert Downey Jr. I mean, that was a stroke of genius, and they managed to pretty much nail it almost every time. Yep. So she's terrific. I like the fact that Ruffalo keeps coming back. Although I guess the real question is, where is the Hulk going? He's in space. Is that a
setup or?
Well, he's going to meet Tony wherever Tony is, right? Because Tony's with the Skrulls, and so
Sakaar is World War Hulk. He's going to go see his son. So,
he didn't say that.
No, but that's what that's alluding to.
You think so? World War Hulk? You think?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, because that's the Sakaar is the planet he was on in
I remember that.
And he was there for a long time. And in the World War Hulk story, he was on Sakaar for a long, long time and had a kid.
Right.
And then eventually they were basically, hey, you got to come set your kid straight. He's doing bad stuff. So.
Well, that is interesting you say that, because his headset or headdress, whatever that he's wearing on Sakaar, was in the tent or was in the hut, right? So obviously he's been back there.
Yep.
Maybe, or he took it with him in Ragnarok. But I think that's interesting. So they're bringing him back to. Have they announced a World War Hulk? I guess they did.
They,
right?
I don't think they have. Have they?
Oh,
I don't know.
I thought they. I don't know. There's been
So
so
I
many
don't know.
things.
Will they do it as a movie or do it as a
I thought
series?
that I think it'll be a series if they do it. But I thought that was more like where's Tony or where's Nick Fury?
Can't be Tony.
Fury,
Tony's dead, right?
no, but
Remember that,
Nick Fury's in space.
right? You said Tony
Right.
though. He's going where Tony is. I'm like, no, he's
Well,
not going to
it
die.
could be
But
it could be Tony in another universe. So,
Tony AI.
but I meant Nick Fury, obviously.
So maybe that will play into Secret War or Secret
Well, that's what I'm
War,
saying. Secret
Secret
Invasion.
Invasion. Yeah.
But that's also funny because the Hulk also doesn't have shoes. So where are the Hulk shoes? Because Nick was looking
true.
for his shoes. Where are my shoes?
Where are my shoes? Where is my
I'm so
super
tired
suit?
of these motherfucking shoes on this motherfucking spaceship.
Where is my super suit? Anyway,
Where's my super suit?
I think they kind of have to, if they do a solo Hulk thing, though. I think they
terrible
have to.
Samuel Jackson
Yeah,
song.
I know. I think they have to do it as a series because isn't there some like issue with Universal and the rights for Hulk movies or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. There probably is. There's probably some problem. Maybe just Disney will have to buy Universal too now.
Yeah, that'll be it. It's like, well, we're going to set this up and then we're going to push it. So, well, we have to buy you now Universal.
It would be more expensive to defend a lawsuit, so let's just spend billions to buy Universal.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's
Yeah.
like, why not just own everything?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? I don't know. I don't know where he's going. But you're probably right. He's probably going to Sakaar because it looked like a Sakaar ship. It looked like
Well, he said that at the beginning. He goes, "Oh, that was a Sakaar scout ship."
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, then they're coming to meet him. Oh, well, then it all makes sense. Maybe it is. Maybe it is World War Hulk then, or World whatever. Cool. Well, I'm fine with it. I like Mark Ruffalo's character as smart Hulk, Bruce Banner, whatever, and I like the fact that she's accepting her role as the She-Hulk, not the name that's going to stick. Hopefully, no, it will.
They're calling me what? No.
Yeah, that was weird for me. I like her boss. I mean, they're really setting up something interesting. So
Yes,
I'm looking forward to the next episode, and I'm totally with the show. It's a super fun. I'm enjoying it, and she's great, like you said. And it's just the Disney shows. I feel like they're really keeping the bar high, and so
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to how it goes. What else can we say about She-Hulk? I guess that's probably it right now.
If you're not watching it, you should be.
If you're not watching it, you should be. Yeah, it's we're not really doing it justice today. It's excellent. But again, I'm glad that they did this kind of thing on like the second episode rather than episode 3 or 4 or 5, where she finally accepts the fact that she's She-Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means they're probably building to something else. So, what do you think is going to happen with Emil and with because Wong obviously shows up because they show him in the trailer. He's in her office at some point. So, what will happen with all of that? Do you think that'll lead to the Thunderbolts?
Maybe. I mean, I think that would be cool.
Because who's going to be? I wonder who's going to be Ross now. Because unfortunately, William Hurt's passed away. So
true. Maybe. I mean, maybe they want She-Hulk to eventually lead the Thunderbolts. Because they, I mean, in the comics, I know originally in the comics it was all villains, but eventually Hawkeye becomes the leader of the Thunderbolts, and in the new comic book series, it started Hawkeye's back as a leader as well. So. Maybe
interesting.
Maybe either Hawkeye comes in, or they do a play on it and have She-Hulk be the leader of
or Yelena Belova.
Yes,
because Val's going to show up at some point, and so does
her
Yelena
and Kate Bishop. Yes.
Kate the Bishop must show up at some point. So all these people could all go together, and Daredevil.
I mean, you could bring in the Defenders as part of the Thunder. I don't know. Who knows? It's all connected. It can all
I don't know if Matt Murdock was ever part of the Thunderbolts.
He was not. No.
Okay, I don't think. But yeah, you could definitely do the.
He wasn't part of the Defenders either. It was different characters. But anyway, I digress.
That's besides the point, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Excuse me.
They can do whatever they want.
Well, that's right. They own the characters. They can do pretty much whatever they want. But they also got to work on the new Spider-Man film and all that too. How do they get Spider-Man back?
How are they going to do all of this? And they got a Fantastic Four. I just don't know.
Hopefully they'll do a good job. So do you think it'll be Krasinski in Fantastic Four?
Honestly, my gut is telling me no. It's not going to be.
I think it's going to be him.
Okay.
I think it was a joke, but it's going to turn out to be true.
I don't think it's going to be him. I think.
And Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. And no, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. But who's going to play the Human Torch? Chris Evans will return to play the Human Torch.
That would be great. I would watch that. I don't think it'll be him, so that in the next Avengers movie, Doctor Strange could go, "Oh, you're Reed Richards. Well, you're a totally different person now."
Yeah, but they can't. How can they do that? Because they've established that the people look the same. Like Kang looks the same in all of the multiverse, and Loki, and and Strange looks basically the same, except
they have variant Lokis, though.
Yes, but those are variant Lokis because of branch timelines. I guess you could say Reed Richards was a variant then.
That was a branch timeline. And
I guess here I am trying to make. How is this going to logically work?
We're trying to bring logic to fiction.
How will a comic book movie logically address the fact that it's a different Reed Richards?
Yeah,
I don't know if they will or not, but anyway, I'd like to see Black Bolt return too, but it probably won't.
I know. I would like to see them do justice to Inhumans because that was a terrible series, but it had some really good people in it.
Well, this is how they tried to address that by bringing him back.
Yeah. Except that don't go any further. This person, and I'll tell you exactly how he's going to use his powers to stop you, so that you can do it and stop him before. I'm like, what? That was a weird flex and. Multiverse madness.
Reed talked a little too much.
Yeah, just have him attack. Don't explain how you're going to do it.
Well, the problem is if he attacked, then she'd probably die.
Right, and then the movie's over.
Then the movie's over. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, Wanda's dead. Oh well.
And you got to tell the kids this is why this character's cool because here's what he can do.
Right. So. Well, they do show him destroying Doctor Strange, multiverse. Strange.
Well, that's true. But yeah, that part was a little. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that movie again.
Well, we can also talk. about. How does Ultron figure in somehow? And then because in the what if, Ultron is actually more powerful than it seems like more powerful than Thanos at some point too. So
yeah,
I feel like Ultron will make another appearance because what were Tony and Bruce doing? Besides building the hut, were they working on Ultron 2.0? I don't know. Maybe.
Trying to put a suit of armor around the world.
Maybe.
Sorry, that was really terrible. Sorry.
I don't know. Who is that? Is that Bruce Banner?
I don't know.
Like it. No. Anyway.
Yeah, what were they doing in that hut that whole time? Because that was during the 5-year period after.
It was, and they can't just be drinking all the time. Although
they could be.
So, so did you watch Hot D or no? They call it that from now on.
I tried.
You tried to watch out. I watched the entire thing. It was. This is spoilers for House of the Dragon episode 1. The most watched premiere on HBO in ever, I guess.
Ever.
Yes. Make sure you know that so they can cancel it.
So when they cancel it, people will go, what?
Actually, it got renewed for a second season already.
I know.
I kind of enjoyed it in some ways. I liked Matt Smith does nothing for me in this, and neither does Paddy Considine, which is shocking to me because I like him usually. He was weak, and Matt Smith was weak, and you can only troll your mustache so many times before I don't take you seriously.
Yeah.
But I liked the princess, the young girl. I thought she was pretty strong. But her friend was sort of meh, and her dad was like creepy. Oh, go have sex with the grieving father. That's a good idea. Wear your pretty dress, you weirdos. And then, the whole idea that the whole pregnancy and thing, that was just that was horrible. So that's just, anyway, it was hard to watch. Juxtaposed, intercut, as they say, with people bashing skulls.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of decapitations, or not decapitations, but a lot of amputations and random other bullshit and weird sex stuff where people watching the guy fuck. I don't know. It was just a weird show. I'm not saying it wasn't sort of entertaining because it kind of was, but I probably just watched it more for curiosity than anything else. But you turned it off, it sounds like.
Yeah, I turned it off after I guess maybe then I did watch most of it. I don't really know. I turned it off after the pregnancy thing or the birth scene. So I don't know how far.
Do you know what happens then?
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. The baby doesn't live.
Yeah, neither does. Here's the thing. So I was like, well, all right. Do we really need a prequel? And I guess we don't. When it comes down to it, we don't really need any fiction, right? But I'm like, well,
sure.
George R.R. Martin's behind this, and maybe it'll be good. Here's the thing. I'm just like, well, we saw all of this already, right? I mean, just different characters, but I'm like, what? So did you have things in Game of Thrones you didn't say or show that you want to do here? Because it's just like I don't. I guess I just don't understand because it's like, well, so this is Game of Thrones still. It's just, well, we're going to do different characters. And
well, yeah, the wheel keeps turning, Joe. That's why.
And because we're on HBO, and because everyone seemed to like the sex and violence, I tell you what, let's ramp that up just because we can.
But I will say this: there was no rape in this episode.
Well, I guess that's got to go. Well, it's only episode 1, so give it time.
There was consensual sex, though.
Well, give it time. It's episode 1. So I'll say this: it's just not for me. I will not be watching it.
Interesting. That's interesting. I thought that you would be into it. Not because it was terrible and you're a terrible person, but I thought you liked this kind of stuff. But yeah, you're right. I do feel
there were no characters in the little bit that I watched that I'm like, because I'll be honest, at first I was like, yeah, I'll probably skip this. But I'm like, well, Matt Smith's in it. I really like him. Patty Considine is in it. He's great. Graham McTavish. I'm like, oh, this is great. This should be. So, and a bunch of other Reese Ifans, a lot of other people in it that I like. Yeah. And I just didn't really care about any. I'm like, well, if they all got killed next episode, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
It's like, are we going to wipe out all these characters and show actual interesting characters? Because it just seems like we took the worst characters with the worst traits from Game of Thrones and we're just going to make a show out of them. But we're going to rename them. And no, this is earlier. And it's like, but it's the same bullshit. I don't know.
Like I said, I liked the little princess. I thought she was interesting. And Rhys Ifans, I like him a lot too, as Otto Hightower. And I did like the fact that they did some like old school jousting and things. That was kind of neat. It was kind of stupid. Let's be honest. It was kind of lame. I didn't enjoy it that much.
I guess somebody bringing up to one of the showrunners or writers or whatever about, well, this has even more sex in it than gratuitous sex and stuff in it than Game of Thrones. And they're like, well, you got to understand the time period. And I'm like, time period? This is made up. It doesn't actually, it's not. Yeah, it's not England in like what?
Right, yeah. Someone was saying it was not as violent or not the same as medieval England. I'm like, well, it's not medieval England, people. It's
I'm like that. Yeah. No, what? No, this isn't. No, you have that in there because you can get away with it, and it'll get people to watch. That's all. It's like, no, what? So exactly. I know though it'll probably go 7-8 seasons, and a lot of people will enjoy it, and good for them. I will not be one of those. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to just watch because I just try to watch everything.
I got too many other things to watch that I do.
Yeah.
Want, so.
Well, that's fine. And if it becomes more of a pain, I guess what I'm saying is I didn't hate it enough to not watch it. I guess it's more curiosity about what are they going to do to differentiate it. Because you're right. It was a lot of the same stuff. It's like, I've seen this show before. There's a little blonde girl who's going to be the queen.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've seen that somewhere. And there's dragons and shit. I just want to kind of see what happens. Maybe with the next episode. I don't know. Maybe I'll stop after the second episode. We'll see. But I want to see where the $20 million per episode goes, and all that stuff. So it's so funny. If you go back and watch the Game of Thrones pilot, which I did after I watched this one, I'm like, man, that is a good show. Right. Yeah. Because you've got interesting characters. You've got people. And you've got like a real big hook at the end. The kid gets pushed out the window. I mean,
right.
The brother and sister are fucking, and then he pushes the kid out the window. It's like, whoa, what is happening?
Yes.
And all those guys are just, and maybe it's because I grew to really like those characters, like Tyrion especially, although he turned out to be an idiot at the end, but it's not his fault.
But Ned Stark and all the kids and
exactly.
That was a
that's
fantastic
how you make a show.
Pilot. Yeah.
Well, maybe those two guys weren't as dumb as people think. I don't know.
Well, that's all directly from the books too. But anyway.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah, I just like you said, I'm like, but I've seen all this. It's just you change the name of the characters. Okay.
It's not Daenerys Targaryen. It's Rhaenyra Targaryen.
Right.
Wait, what's her name? No, it's Rhaenyra. Sorry.
Next episode, we're gonna have Med Stark and
well, there's already been Stark. You can see all their banners. You already saw the Stark banner. You saw all the people.
Again, it's
and the flayed man. I saw the flayed man in the background.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess this is if there's any audience for this show, it's like, here's a show for all of you who wanted more Game of Thrones. And
all of you that were disappointed by the last season of Game of Thrones.
Right. So now we're going to give you all the shit that apparently everybody liked. They've done testing, and they've done focus groups. I'm sure. What did you enjoy most about Game of Thrones? The raping and the murdering and the fucking and what else? Violence.
Cool.
Right?
We'll have more of that. We promise.
Extra.
Extra.
Yeah. And the scene with the mom trying to have a baby, that's going to be more bloody than the battlefield. And like she even says in the show, it's like, oh, battlefield is the bed. And it's like, well, okay. And it is. So,
yeah. I was like, all right. That's a way to go, I suppose.
You might as well just take a bunch of kittens and put them in a bag and throw them in the river. I'm just saying.
Right. Put a brick in there and throw them in the river. Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Sandman. Anyway. Looking at you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, yes, I'm sure that medieval England was horrible, but
but this isn't medieval England. It's a made-up land in a made-up time.
It is. I agree with you, but it's just, and I will be fine with almost anything if it's motivated by character, if it's motivated by by the story. But this is just, it feels gratuitous to me. It feels like you said, it's like watching a Cinemax show. It's like, oh, it's been 10 minutes. There needs to be fucking
we have a schedule to keep here, folks.
We have a schedule. Yeah, every 10 minutes you gotta have boobs and sex, and then you gotta have violence. Like, I like Strike Back. I think Strike Back was a great show. I like Strike Back a lot. It was dumb, but it was funny.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was on Cinemax meant that they had to have sex every 10 minutes or so.
Exactly.
So, like, the main guy, they're like out there, doing their firefight, but all of a sudden we got to pause.
Yes, exactly. All right, ceasefire. I got to go do this. I'll be right back.
Just a minute. It's been 10 minutes. I got to get my dick out. I'm sorry.
Here's the other thing, too, that I dislike about sprawling fantasy story epics. Yeah. So you have Game of Thrones, right? And it's essentially, even though it really isn't, it's the same kind of technological level and societal level and everything as medieval England, right? So now we have the story that's set, like 1,000 years before that. Technology is still the same, and it's still the same, politics. It's like, did you guys not advance at all in 1,000 years? What the hell?
No, they have not.
I'm like, what? So again, I'm like, so why did
it's only 200 years before Game of Thrones, not 1,000
well, still,
years.
But in 200 years, you didn't, like...
And 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah. But I'm just like, nothing changed. Nothing advanced. I know it's fiction, and it's not real life, but I'm like, I don't know, things have changed a lot here in the last 175 years. But
well, the thing that made me laugh too is like, when they first started the show, I'm like, oh, what city is this? Oh, it's the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same throne. It's the same everything. Oh, the throne.
That's what I'm saying. They just changed the names.
I'm like, do you guys still have the sets sitting there? Is that what happened, or I don't know.
Yeah. So
did you get a bargain on those, or what? Yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna belittle or yell at people that enjoy it, and I'm sure there's going to be there obviously is a large audience for this, although I will be interested to see if there's any drop off for the second episode. But and hey, if people love it, that's great, and I hope you get 10 seasons out of it, or all the seasons you want, and you get to enjoy it. I won't be one of those, but hey, love what you love. That's cool.
Exactly. You can exactly. So, and I will watch an episode or two more and see how it goes, but I might drop out too. We'll see if it doesn't get any better. But it does have a high bar though, because if you think about it, like we're talking about the pilot of Game of Thrones, and the first season is very strong of that show. It's very strong. Very good character development, very good stakes, introducing people, introducing the winter is coming, that's like, you can distill the entire thing. It's like, this is what the show is about. Winter is coming, motherfucker.
Right.
And it's like they have to reference that too, of course. And the guy's got that. I don't know if you saw that part, but like it's towards the end when he decides, oh, okay, I guess you can be the queen now. Now that everyone else is dead.
Exactly.
He's like holding the dagger that eventually the whatever dragon scale dagger or whatever that what's her face uses to kill the White King or whatever in the final of. It's like he's like, oh, there's a prophecy of eventually the winter. It's like, no shit, we already saw that, dude.
Right, we saw that. It's like, dude, don't.
We saw that that was referenced in a much better show. So
foreshadowing isn't cool if we've already seen what was foreshadowed, right? I mean, it's like what?
It's a little known story that only kings tell. I'm like, okay, dude, come on.
No, we know 5 million people watched it. We saw it.
We know what's up.
Like little known story. Yeah, it's like, oh, what could that be? I wonder what that is.
You know who I miss though? There's no Viserys. I miss him too.
There's no Tyrion really either. So.
Well, that's what I think that's what it comes down to too. There's no character who just like drinks and knows things. I'm just saying that's what.
And they're all kind of the same. They're all just these petty,
idiots. Petty little bitches.
Yeah.
And, no disrespect to Matt Smith, but he's not the right person for this character.
He's not, and I really
he's miscast.
There's been everything I've seen him in. Including Doctor Who, of course, but many other things other than that, he's been great. And it's like, wow, he's just not good in this. And
he's miscast or poorly directed, or he just feels uncomfortable. I think maybe it's like there's an interview where he's talking about the level of sex and violence was uncomfortable for him. So he seems uncomfortable. I think that's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
He seems like he's in the wrong show.
Yeah.
And maybe
exactly.
Perhaps he is. But anyway. Do you want to talk about Nope for a minute?
We should talk about that.
Okay, so here's my take on Nope. Not my
Nope?
take.
Or yeah.
Nope. No, I liked it a lot, actually. Okay. I thought I liked it, but the movie I really wanted to see was the movie about Stephen Wen's character.
Yes.
I wanted to see that because that was creepy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That stuff at the beginning, the actual, spoilers, the actual monkey paw, right?
Yeah,
so I'm like,
yes, literally.
Literally. Well, I'm sure that's where it comes to that guy, man. I enjoyed it because I like, I sometimes like movies about Hollywood, but I can tell you that the guy that Michael Wincott plays, I know that guy, basically. That guy is like every cinematographer who keeps rolling, until the last minute, right? Because he keeps the camera going. So it's just that I liked Michael Wincott. I thought it was great to see him back. Everyone was good. Keke Palmer in particular, I thought was terrific, but Stephen was awesome too. He was, I enjoy it. People, I think we're expecting, it's like the same thing with M. Night. It's like everyone expects like this amazing twist or this amazing whatever. And it was a different kind of movie. It was like a straight up kind of monster movie almost, instead of like a super...
Spoilers, by the way, for this, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen Nope. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I mean, I think it just came out on video, but...
Yeah, it's been out for a while, but yeah, it just came out on...
Has it? I don't even know. And I love the fact that they reference Best Buy. Or not Best Buy, but Fry's. Thank you. Shout out to Fry's.
Yes.
That was my Fry's for years. The Burbank Fry's, man. I love it. It's gone now, but which is amazing that he put that in there, because
spot for Fry's. Yes,
because that's the Fry's with the alien ships in it.
Exactly.
It's got this flying saucer that crashed into it. And if you go inside, there's like all kinds of there's like a bunch of World War II Jeeps, and they're trying to fight flying saucers. It's like a 1950s monster sci-fi movie, which I think is terrific. The fact that they shot in there. But the Fry's guy was funny. I thought he was good.
He was good.
Brandon Perea. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I mean, I like movies. I like Jordan Peele. I liked all his films, and I think this was it was pretty good. It had some sort of odd moments. Like it almost couldn't decide what kind of movie it was a little bit. But if you don't think about it too much, if you don't try to assign a higher meaning, maybe it's better. It's just a great monster film, I thought. So
I'm going to say I loved it. And I'm going to say right now that I feel that Jordan Peele is kind of a modern age...
Orson Welles.
No, not Orson Welles. Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock, sure.
Because... like Hitchcock, he has, I think, a different... He tells a story that you expect it to be just the story that it is, but he tells it in a unique way and gives you something new and different to it. Like this one, it was like, oh, so it's going to be alien invasion, right? Well, no, it's not. It's like, wow, I just didn't even expect that. And he gets great performances out of the actors he has in his shows, in his movies.
Definitely.
And I don't know, it's just riveting to watch from beginning to end. You don't want to, it's not a movie that you're like, man, I got to pee, I'm going to pause this and step away. It's like, I don't want to pause. I want to just keep going because I want to know what happens next and I want to see how this plays out. And he is, even in Get Out and Us, he's very adept at constructing a movie and playing out suspense in the right way. Yeah, I was excited to see it from the trailer, and almost went to the theater to see it, but I was being very judicious on being out in public, as we've discussed. And I kind of regret now not seeing it in the theater, because it's just really well done and really well executed and awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the cinematography, if we're talking about cinematography for a second, it was a beautiful looking film. I wish I could have seen it in the theater. I'm sure, I mean, I have a pretty good setup at home, but I'm pretty sure that it would have looked amazing on a giant screen. But yeah, I agree with you. He is really good at setting up tension. He's really good at sort of, upping the stakes and kind of like misdirecting you a little bit. And there's not a lot of violence, like a lot of blood and stuff. I mean, there's a little, it's like, I mean, a little, but it's kind of, you don't really see.
He doesn't do gory horror movies.
Well, not so far. Yeah. It's not like over the top. Even with Gordy, it's not super bloody until towards the end. But what I think is interesting is that whole thing. It kind of gives you the idea of what the whole movie's about, right? It's about documentation, right? It's like that whole thing is just Steven Yeun's character's flashback in his mind about what happened. So he's like an unreliable narrator. To him, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why the sister is so interested in getting it all, documented to get the Oprah shot, which I think is funny.
Yes.
It's just you got to get it on. You got to get it on film. You got to get it on whatever. And so. The fact that they bring out the big IMAX camera, whatever, Wincott's character, Antlers Holst, gets out his giant camera that he made himself that's hand crank, just like they would have shot that guy, the jockey on the horse, back in the day.
Exactly.
So it's just, I really enjoyed it. As a person who, used to work in the industry, I especially kind of I enjoyed all the little ins and outs of the movie business part of it too. But I really enjoyed it a lot. It was great.
I also think Peele is just masterful at not just ratcheting up and playing out tension, but he does it much more visually than I think a lot of other directors rely on. Oh, here's that music, something, specific music to key you up and stuff. Peele relies more on what you see to get you there, and just does it really well. And a lot of times, especially in this movie, it's even more tension with what you don't see, right? So, I really, really love this movie, and I will watch it more times, and I absolutely can't wait for the next thing he does.
Yeah, apparently there might be a sequel.
Really?
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's really going to happen, but I mean, you could definitely.
Yeah.
The thing I think is interesting about Steven Yeun, about Jupe, his character, is that not only because he sort of in his mind maybe this is what happened or didn't happen, but he thought he had this relationship with Gordy kind of, and he's like, oh, Gordy wouldn't hurt me kind of thing. So he kind of tries to recreate that with the whatever, right? I mean, he builds this entire theme park basically because he can try to have this relationship again with something to sort of recapture his fame. And whatever, and also it was super creepy that the girl came to his thing.
Yeah, it was. It was
with her little.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you just knew that when the monkey was like going to give him the fist bump, that was going to be the end for Gordy. But anyway, that was super creepy, man. That actually scared me more than the other parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, whoa, yeah.
Well, that's the unpredictability of creatures, right? It's animals. You can't, like exactly. even Wincott's character is like, ask Siegfried and Roy. It's like you can't control these things, right? Not really.
And also, can I mention really quick? Doesn't Wincott have like the best voice ever?
Dude, he's awesome. Yeah, I love that guy. He was great in this movie too. He's just like, I've seen everything. And what is he watching, by the way, in his office? He's like editing on and it's like, what the fuck is that? It's like a tiger getting attacked by a snake or something. I don't know what.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm like,
it was bizarre.
Yeah,
he's bizarre, obviously.
I hope we now get to see him more because he's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's interesting if you think about it, because so all this idea that you can control these crazy wild things, like horses, even like they try to control the horses, but even the horse has an axe up on the set, right? It kicks at somebody when it sees its own eyes. It's just really, it's really clever. It's like you don't know where this stuff is coming from Like at the beginning, what happens to Keith David's character? It's like, that's brilliant.
Well, you're like, yeah, Keith David, then, he's going to be, and it's like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, but how, what happens to him and what causes it?
Yes.
It pays off later.
Yeah.
In a terrible way.
Yeah.
But, and then what better way to sort of finalize the thing than use a giant Western icon, right? To sort of.
Yes, exactly.
But then, which is also telling, obviously, Jordan Peele is a fan of film because what happens at the end, right? She finally, whatever. So
yes,
I'm trying to spoil it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't want to. Yeah,
I don't want to ruin the finale part of it, but it's funny how that's what happens, right? And she's able to,
and it all looks beautiful. And
the whole thing is beautiful.
And he's got a great, obviously has a fantastic director of photography, but still he,
Hoyt Van Hoytem,
yeah, great name. Just like Antlers Holst.
Antlers Holst.
Yeah. But I mean, you gotta imagine at this point, especially seeing Get Out and Us, that all these things that we see on the screen, he sees, it's what he sees in his head when he writes these stories, and it's like you just bring it out really well and make it look.
Well,
awesome.
I mean, speaking of cinematography, the guy who shot the movie did Spectre, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. I mean, he works with Christopher Nolan all the time, so he's big on the IMAX cameras, and he's beautiful, making beautiful visuals, obviously.
And unlike later seasons of Game of Thrones and some other things lately, the night scenes, you can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
I also got a real good Close Encounters vibe too during some of the sequences too.
Absolutely.
Like when he's in the truck, I thought that was really clever.
Yes.
Obviously Jordan Peele's a big fan of Close Encounters.
Yeah.
But even at the beginning with that quote from the Bible.
Yes.
It's just the whole thing is creepy. It's super creepy. Which that's if I could say anything about Jordan Peele, I would say he's really good at creating that sort of creepy vibe because all the other movies that he's done have that kind of thing that makes you uneasy. And what's the first? I mean, he has that quote, and then the first thing you see is this whole thing with Gordy.
Yeah,
but you don't really see it, right?
You don't really have any context either. So it's
right.
Like,
you just hear a lot of it, and then you see this, you go, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yes,
and you are unsettled and creeped out for the entire movie, and that's a great way to start.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it a lot, and talking about it more makes me realize how much I really enjoyed it. And it's also interesting in this day and age that one of the ways that the characters are going to have power is by having things on video,
right,
having photos of things. So I mean that kind of speaks to a larger thing, obviously, but if that's what part of the movie's about, it's like surveillance culture, I guess you could say, where people need to be surveilled, but also in order to be taken seriously and to be trusted, I suppose, or believed, they have to have video of things happening.
Yes.
For various reasons. So
yes.
And there's also a connection to For All Mankind in this movie too. Ren Schmidt is in this.
Exactly. So, yes.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it a lot, and people are hating on it. I don't know why.
I don't either. In fact, now talking about it, I want to go watch it again.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, I want to watch it again. I hope maybe they'll re-release it in theaters. I would like to see it in a theater. I think it would look really beautiful. I'm sure it would, because Agua Dulce. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but it's amazing looking. I mean, that was really Agua Dulce.
I haven't, but yeah, I definitely would absolutely go see this.
I think a lot of it looked. I mean, I want to say familiar, but I'm pretty sure that some of it was shot either right near where a friend of mine's uncle used to live, and we used to like hang out kind of there sometimes. So a lot of it looked familiar. I don't know if that's. I think the ranch was all built, but
right.
But it was just it looked really. The mountains kind of looked familiar. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I really thought it was cool. And look at it this way, even if it's not your cup of tea necessarily, the fact that movies like this get made at all should make you go, oh, thank goodness that someone is doing something that's original, because it's original, right? It's not.
See, people that are like, oh, we need more original movie. Well, here you go. Here's one right here.
Yeah.
And it's well done. I do like that the production company that the movie was shot under is called Monkey Paw Productions. That was pretty great.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that he's had that particular scene in his mind since the beginning. Like when he was first thinking about making films, it's like there's a scene where a bloody monkey paw,
Well, and he had that production company name back when he did Get Out. So it's like, I think you're right. I think he had that scene and he's like, it's a visual that stuck with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to have that in a movie someday. And he's like, oh, here's the opportunity to do that. And it just, you're right. It unsettles you right at the beginning. And so you're kind of off balance for what happens next. So then it's like, well, I don't even know what's going on anymore, but I'm loving it because it's fun to watch.
Exactly. Is this going to be a horror film? Is this going to be, what kind of movie is it? Is it a Western? It's kind of a Western in some ways. Because there's horses, and there's kind of, it's sci-fi, and it's kind of like a thriller. It's kind of like a, whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to, you can't pick, nail it down to one genre. And I like movies like that, where it's like, to me, the best movies are like, well, what's it about? It's like, I can't even describe it to you. You got to watch it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's it. And the fact that we can still talk about it, and the fact that I want to see it again.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a couple other movies that have come out recently that I would like to revisit. I'm sure that I would get more out of this one if I watch it again. So
yes,
I'm definitely gonna do it again. So in fact, I'm gonna go right now and do it. Bye. No, kidding.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. But to be honest, that actually Nope is actually my pick this week too. Just to segue into that, because I'm very happy I finally got a chance to see it. But I was not as brave to go out in the theater as some people were, and
I actually regret it for this one.
Yeah, me too. I wish I had, but yeah, that's my pick. If you haven't seen Nope, it's definitely a movie worth watching if you like horror films, or if you like sci-fi, if you like westerns, if you like just creepy ass movies that are like, oh, well, this is. If you like Jordan Peele, if you liked his last two films, which I think pretty much most people did. But the thing that's great about it is that there's other layers. Even if he says, "Oh, it's just it's like I want to make a monster movie or whatever," there's still other things going on. He thinks about other things, and there's other things at play. Yes. Not just on this. It's not just on the surface, which I suppose is part of the theme of the movie. It's not just on the surface. So, definitely watch it. I think everyone is excellent in it, especially Keke Palmer and Stephen Nguyen. So,
yes, and Michael Wincott.
And Michael Wincott, yeah. Hopefully we'll see more of him.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, he's worked a little bit, but he's just like you were saying before. It's like he
took some time off.
Yeah. And I'm sure he'll work again. I'm sure people will go, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and this will be like, oh yeah, Nope was his comeback, and now he's in. Now we can't get rid of him. He's everywhere, and I'm okay. I'll be okay with that.
Him and Sam Worthington will just be in all kinds of movies together.
When does he get to be in a Marvel movie? That's all.
And Chris Pratt. Yeah, who could he play in a Marvel movie? Let's think about that. I don't know. So I'm sure there's somebody.
Yeah.
What aging superhero? He could play Tony Stark from another world.
That would be cool.
I would totally.
He's the new Tony Stark now. That would be awesome.
I would absolutely watch like this is what happens with like more of an alcoholic aged Tony Stark.
Yes.
I would totally watch that. Anyway, all right, so that's my pick. Nope. Do you have a pick this week, Joe?
I do. I'm not going to go for the easy pick like I did last week and like you did this week, but I'm going to pick a writer actually this time.
That hurts, man.
Well, you gave me some grief last week for my easy pick, but that's all right.
I never do that.
No, never. I'm going to pick a writer, a comic book writer by the name of Dan Slott.
Dan Slott.
Yes, Dan Slott. He has actually now written, he's most closely associated with Spider-Man comics, and he's written like 1/4 of all Spider-Man comics that have ever been written, and there's been thousands of them. But he's that prolific in the Spider-Man universe. For the last 4 years, however, though, he's been writing the Fantastic Four comic. His last issue of that just came out, and he's also responsible for basically creating the Spider-Verse as we know it and as featured in the Spider-Verse movies. And he is returning this fall back to writing Spider-Man. He just can't, just when he thinks he's out, they pull him back in. But he's a great writer. I mean, his comics are fun. At the same time, they have, poignant, dramatic moments. He nails it. He wrote he did a Silver Surfer series with Mike Allred on art that is some of the best comics I've ever read. And he's just an amazing writer. I've loved his Fantastic Four run. I'm disappointed he's leaving Fantastic Four, but I get it. If Spider-Man is his love and he has the opportunity to go back to it, that's great. And I will read any comics he writes. He even did a run on She-Hulk that the series is heavily influenced by. So he kind of built up the She-Hulk attorney at law kind of persona, and so a lot of elements in the TV show are being pulled from his run. So Dan Slott, he's great. Like I said, he just finished up with Fantastic Four this fall. He's got a Spider-Man #1 coming out, so make sure you pick it up.
Cool.
Yeah,
I follow him on Twitter. So
yeah, me too. He's
so I'm cool like that.
Yeah, I think he even responded to some of the love I was giving to his Silver Surfer comics. So.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, you guys are practically like best friends then.
Yeah, I call him Danny.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, I call him Danny. You know how it is.
It's like stepbrothers up in here or something.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, I haven't seen that in a while, but it's still funny. Put those two guys together, a comedy gold.
Dude,
right,
absolutely. Yes.
Dude. It's the goddamn... Anyway, I won't go into it. All right, so find the Flickcast at Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all the other places you find podcasts. Yeah, you already know because you already listened to the show, but tell a friend. And then Joe and I are on the socials at What Joe Writes, and I'm at Chris Yu, and also at Ulrich Pix at Instagram, and the Flickcast is at TheFlickcast. And you can also find all the other Flickcast links at Linktree, so that's linktr.ee/TheFlickcast. Feel free to click and review and rate the show on Apple in particular, or Spotify. Either one's fine, but Apple's still, I think, the best one.
Yeah.
That would be great. And you guys have been great about commenting. We've seen some comments and stuff. Thank you for that. Yeah. You can tell us we suck. It's fine. We can handle it. But you can also say nice things too. It's fine. We like good compliments too.
Tell us we're pretty. We're okay with that.
I appreciate you can tell a smart person that she's pretty. Wait, no. What's the thing? I don't even know. Never mind. You can tell Joe he's pretty.
Sure.
Because I don't mind. I'm not vain like that.
I need that affirmation, please. Come on.
You do. You're a handsome man. Don't forget. So this has been fun. Anything else, Joe?
I don't think so. That's all, folks.
All right. So for Joe Dilworth, I am Chris Ulrich, and that was the Flickcast. Thanks so much for listening.